Hey, fourth graders, happy Tuesday. I'm here to read you the next couple chapters of Wonder. We've been reading about Via and her experiences starting high school, and she's having a really rough start because the friends that she had aren't really being friendly towards her, and it seems to be, really upsetting to her. So let's keep reading about Via's experience at her new high school. This chapter is called After School. I hear we're driving you home today. It was Miranda, in 8th period. She had just sat down at the desk right behind me. I had forgotten that Mom had called Miranda's mother the night before to ask if she could drive me home from school. You don't have to, I answered instinctively, casually. My mom can pick me up. I thought she had to pick Augie up or something. It turns out she can pick me up afterward. She just texted me, not a problem. Oh, okay. Thanks. It was all a lie on my part, but I couldn't cease sitting in a car with a new Miranda. After school, I ducked into a restroom to avoid bumping into Miranda's mother outside. Half an hour later, I walked out of the school, ran the 3 blocks to the bus stop, hopped on the M86 to Central Park West, and took the subway home. Hey there, sweetie, Mom said the moment I stepped through the front door. How was your first day? I was starting to wonder where you guys were. We stopped for pizza. Incredible how easy a lie can slip through your lips. Is Miranda not with you? She seemed surprised that Miranda wasn't right behind me. She went straight home. We have a lot of homework. On your first day? Yes, on our first day, I yelled, which completely surprised Mom. But before she could say anything else, I said, school is fine. It's really big, though. The kids seem nice. I wanted to give her enough information so she wouldn't feel the need to ask me more. How was Augie's first day of school? Mom hesitated, her eyebrows still high up on her forehead from when I snapped at her a second earlier. Okay, she said slowly, like she was letting out a breath. What do you mean, okay? Was it good or bad? He said it was good. So why do you think it wasn't good? I didn't say it wasn't good. Jeez, Via, what's up with you? Just forget I asked anything at all, I answered, and stormed dramatically into Augie's room and slammed the door. He was on his PlayStation and didn't even look up. I hated how zombified his video games made him. So how was school? I said, scooching Daisy over so I could sit on his bed next to him. Fine, he answered, still not looking up from his game. Augie, I'm talking to you. I pulled the PlayStation out of his hands. Hey, he said angrily. How was school? I said fine, he yelled back, grabbing the PlayStation back from me. Were people nice to you? Yes. No one was mean. He put the PlayStation down and looked at me as if I had just asked the stupidest question in the world. Why would people be mean? He said. It was the first time in his life that I heard him be sarcastic like that. I didn't think he had it in him. This next chapter is called The Padawan Bites the Dust. Padawan is one of the characters from Star Wars. I'm not sure at what point that night Augie had cut off his Padawan braid or why that made me really mad. I had always found his obsession with everything Star Wars kind of geeky, and that braid in the back of his hair with its little beads was just awful. But he had always been so proud of it, of how long it took him to grow it, of how he had chosen the beads himself in a craft store in Soho. He and Christopher, his best friend, used to play with lightsabers and Star Wars stuff whenever they got together, and they had both started growing their braids at the same time. When August cut his braid off that night, without any explanation, without telling me beforehand, which was surprising, or even calling Christopher, I was just so upset I can't even explain why. I've seen Augie brushing his hair in the bathroom mirror. He meticulously tries to get every hair in place. He tilts his head to look at himself from different angles, like there's some magic perspective inside the mirror that could change the dimensions of his face. Mom knocked on my door after dinner. She looked drained, and I realized that between me and Augie, today had been a tough day for her. So, you want to tell me what's up? She asked nicely and softly. Not now, okay? I answered. I was reading. I was tired. Maybe later I'd be up to telling her about Miranda, but not now. I'll check in before you go to bed, she said, and then she came over and kissed me on the top of my head. Can Daisy sleep with me tonight? Sure, I'll bring her in later. Don't forget to come back. I said as she left, I promise. But she didn't come back that night. Dad did. He told me August had had a bad first day and Mom was helping him through it. He asked me how my day had gone, and I told him fine. He said he didn't believe me for a second, and I told him Miranda and Ella were acting like jerks. I didn't mention how I took the subway home by myself, though. He said He said nothing tests friendship like high school, and then proceeded to poke fun at the fact I was reading War and Peace. Not real fun, of course, since I'd heard him brag to people that he had a 15-year-old daughter who was reading Tolstoy. But he liked to rib me about where I was in the book, in a war part or in a peace part, and if there was anything in there about Napoleon's days as a hip-hop dancer. It was silly stuff, but Dad always managed to make everyone laugh, and sometimes that's all you need to feel better. Don't be mad at Mom, he said, as he bent down to give me a goodnight kiss. You know how much she worries about Augie. I know, I acknowledged. Want the light on or off? It's getting kind of late, he said, passing by the light switch at the door. Can you bring Daisy in first? 2 seconds later, he came back with Daisy dangling in his arms, and he laid her down next to me on the bed. Good night, sweetheart, he said, kissing my forehead. He kissed Daisy on her forehead, too. Good night, girlie. Sweet dreams. All right. So weird that Via is like only telling her dad what happened and then isn't really like talking to Mom. And then she didn't even really tell her dad the whole situation. So I'm kind of wondering, fourth graders, do you ever have times where like you either like choose to tell your parents things or you decide not to because you don't want to share it? Or is there like, maybe you'll tell Mom certain things but not Dad, or Dad certain things or not Mom, or Auntie one thing or Grandma another? So, who do you kind of talk to about what when you're having problems or a bad day at school? All right, bye fourth graders. See you tomorrow.